Wayne, just starting off with obviously yesterday we saw Des Hasler playing some mind games with Craig Bellamy. All the mind games with Nathan Cleary and Blake Taff. What do you make of that?
Well, it's good news for me is I don't read your papers and I don't watch you on TV, so you better tell me what's going on.
Well, Wayne, there's been a bit of talk that you might pull a Swifty and not start Blake at the back. Can you guarantee that Blake will start at the back?
I'm not in the guarantee business, mate, but I'm telling you he's going to play fullback.
Wayne, there was a story today, in case you didn't read it, that Ivan Cleary is asking the match officials to protect Nathan from what's said to be an illegal South Sydney ambush. That's what that story's about.
What is it? Just explain to me again.
Well, it's saying that they fear that you will an illegal South Sydney ambush on Nathan.
Oh, where do you reckon that's coming from?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Did you have a meeting with the NRL about this?
About what?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Where does he get this?
About doing something illegal? Is that what the meeting was about? Well, I didn't. I'm just trying to get this in perspective. There's certainly an issue there, an issue for the game, not only South Sydney. The issue is the use of blockers. So last time we played Penrith, and it's happened before, and happened in the State of Origin involving their players as well, last year when I coached. They're setting up blocks. I mean, the bottom line is we haven't been able to get near Nathan and his kicks because we're getting blocked. Our kick chases are getting blocked by illegal blockers. So I asked for some direction from the NRL in recent times as to what our position was and what was allowable and what wasn't allowable. Because at the moment, there's no doubt that it's illegal what they do. And, you need to go and look at the vision. It's all there for you to see. If you look at the three kicks that he kicked where we knocked one on, we pushed one dead and we got tackled in the in-goal area, you'll see what our guys putting kick pressure on. You'll see how much obstruction there was on their route to get to Nathan. They didn't even get close to Nathan.
So what are they doing?
Well, you're allowed to have blockers in the game. They're not illegal, but they've got to be stationary. They're interfering with our line, with the kick pressure that we're putting on from where we're bringing it from around the marker area. They're either moving forward, backwards, or sideways to block that player from getting to the kicker or getting pressure to the kicker. So on those three kicks, and the three times there was two blockers on each one of those three kicks that he put in that stopped our players from getting any pressure on Nathan Nall. So he was untouched in that game. We couldn't get near him. It's been going on for quite a while. I mean, the game has to address it at some stage. Now we've made it public. It's illegal. I mean, they would say, well, they're just going on a kick chase. They're not going on a kick chase. They're moving sideways and they're moving backwards and they're making contacts with shoulders and hands. And I'll finish it off by saying from a very, very reliable source, they practice it at training. So it's a tactic that they use. And anything but that, and if you watch their games, you'll see it time and time again.
So has the referees, have they assured you that they're going to look at this, or?
Well, they know what's happening, and they know that there'll probably be a response to it from our point of view if we're blocked again tomorrow. From doing our job, from playing within the rules, we're allowed to put pressure on the kicker. Everybody knows that, and everybody knows that if you are in the block position, then you can't move.
Wayne, you say a response. What kind of response are you talking about there? If there are blockers?
You better turn the TV on and have a look tomorrow night.
No, but I mean, are you suggesting that would sort of lead to frustrations from South? You guys will run through them, or something illegal there? Or?
You're making the headlines. You put any connotation you like on it. Yeah.
But Wayne, can I ask? It was pointed out earlier that I think you guys averaged less than 4 penalties a game this year given away, but in your 2 games against Penrith, you've given away a total of 23. Does that suggest that you guys go after Penrith a bit and try and rough them up?
No, it doesn't.
What do you put that down to then?
Well, there's lots of things I can put it down to, but the major issue is that the last time I don't think anyone that watched the game and again reviewed the video didn't think it was kind of one-way traffic. So, we shut our mouths, we live with it, we got on with it. But we're not in this football team regardless of who we're playing, and I've never gone as a coach to create mayhem against the opposition that's not within the rules.
So when you say it wasn't, sorry, you go. I was just going to say,
all the penalties that we gave, if you went through the video and you don't do that, it's not your job, it's my job. Then you'll see they did similar type things, but they didn't get penalised for it. So that's a referee's decision on the day. But in terms of head highs, in terms of lost balls on the ground, whatever, they got away with a lot of stuff. Well, they didn't get away with it. The ref didn't do anything about it, and that's fine. That's his prerogative. But it's not because we're all disciplined as a football team.
You mentioned last week, I think it was, that you sort of expect the referees to put their whistles in their pockets a bit during finals. That's what happens every year. Do you sort of fear that might happen again, especially talking about the fact that it went both ways and there was a bit of foul play against your guys?
No, I'm not fearing it if it happens, if he puts in his... Look, here's my point. In my opinion, the ref is out there to ref for both teams. He's not there to ref for one team. So if we're doing things that aren't within the rule book, then I expect to be penalised. But if they're doing the similar type things, then I expect them to be penalised as well. It's a pretty simple formula for me. So if it counts 10 penalties each, or 8, 10 or something like that, that's all livable. But you can't tell me that, we're the least penalised team in the comp and we go out in one game and we try to create mayhem, or 2 games, and that we do it deliberately. It just doesn't happen.
Do you think they're getting preferential treatment? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. You'll have to ask the referees that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you what the facts are. And
you're just looking for a fair rub of the green, Wayne. Is that right?
Well, that's what again, that's what the referee's there for, isn't it? He's there to adjudicate on the rules of the game, and for both teams, apply to both teams. But
Wayne,
so let's go back to the block. Let's go back to the block plays. Right? They're running blocks. Okay, they're interfering with guys, putting kick pressure on it, and there's been no action taken against it. We run a half-baked block in that game, and we get penalised for it.
Are you expecting any downtown?
Pardon?
Are you expecting any downtown penalties this week, Wayne?
Well, no, not really. No.
Wayne, is it frustrating for you that with these block plays, you had to go to the NRL? It wasn't picked up in the first place. You had to go to the NRL and address it.
No, I'm not blaming the NRL for it. I'm not blaming anybody. But what I will say, is that, again, we go to the NRL and I do it in privacy, and I do it without talking to any media outlets, whatever. And all of a sudden you're getting a fair bit of information about it. That's what disturbs me most about all this stuff, is that we've got no confidentiality in our game whatsoever. And I think it's pretty poor.
So do you think that the NRL's leaked it on you?
Should have something to answer for. Well, I'm sure they've leaked it. I've got no doubt at all. I certainly haven't spoken to a journalist about it. I've got no doubt at all it's been leaked.
Have you spoken to them this morning about that or not?
No, I'm not going to speak. I've got other things in my mind today. Okay, we've got to go to Townsville tomorrow and play a pretty important game. So that's just, I'm not. I've moved on from it. But at the end result is, I'm not going to have my players disadvantaged at the expense of them because that the rules aren't being interpreted, and they run blocks, and they run them on a consistent basis. And if you go to the three instances in the second half when we tried to get pressure on Nathan on the 3 of his kicks, which were pretty influential in the game, we were blocked out on the 3 of them, and that's the issue for me.
Wayne, it's a pretty big accusation to say that that they
It's not an accusation. It's not an accusation. It's a fact, mate. Go and have a look at it in the vision, and go and have a look at what they do.
You said you've got a reliable source saying that they practice this at training, is suggesting that Penrith cheat.
No, I'm not suggesting they cheat. I'm just telling you what they practice at training. They mightn't see it as cheating. I don't know. You'll have to ask them that question. But they'll be lying to you if they tell you they don't practice it. You see the players go into position. It's a trained thing. You see how the players respond to when the kick's about to come, the 5th and last tackle. It just doesn't happen by coincidence.
Wayne,
Wayne, do you have any interest at all in being part of the Maroons setup next year?
Next question.
Can you expand on that answer at all?
I thought I did.
Does it interest you in any way, Wayne?
Queensland always interests me.
We get the picture. Thank you.
How are the boys looking this week at training after having a week off? Majority of the big names, mate.
Yeah, look, I've been pretty pleased actually with the way they looked. I think they're looking pretty good actually. They look pretty sharp and full of running and all that type of stuff. There's no doubt the weeks helped them enormously. Yeah.
And the team named will run out pretty similar, mate.
That'll be the one.
Wayne, just talk to us about the confidence in Blake Sapp. Like, obviously, after last Saturday night's game, you were you were non-committal, I guess, in saying whether you'd play him at fullback. What's got you over the line to be confident he can handle it at the back?
I was just trying to keep him out of headlines for a couple more days. That's all, mate.
That's fair, but I guess
I was just buying time.
That's fair. I thought that might be the case, but you saw, obviously, you've got no doubt about his ability on the high ball of Nathan. Like, he's a natural fullback. That's not a concern for you.
He wouldn't be playing there if we didn't think he could catch.